Uh, we just finished a challenging case of congenital uterine anomaly. The patient had long history of infertility and recurrent pregnancy loss. On hysterography, there were two corneas with a very obtuse angle. So Yahya, from that hysterography view, what do you think? What do you put as the diagnosis?
A bicornuate or a septum.
You have to raise your voice. A bicornuate or a septum. So what we have done after that?
3D ultrasound.
Okay, so you are the one who's doing the 3D ultrasound for me in the office. Would you tell me what the findings in this case?
Firstly, on a two-dimensional scan, in the transverse section going from the cervix towards the fundus, we see two hyperechoic endometrial patterns split by a hypoechoic heterogeneous myometrial
There's a
septum.
in between both corneas, yes.
As we go more towards the fundus, we end up seeing two completely separate horns. So there's no septa. There's a horn, so endometrium, then myometrium, and then air, and then myometrium, and then endometrium. So two separate horns.
I'm confused. I'm confused. So would you say it slowly? What is the situation?
Simply. First, in the septal component, there is one entity. In the bicornuate component, you will see two entities on the transverse scan.
So what I get from you, it's both combined. There is a septum, okay? But as we go up, both cavities are separated by a septum, sorry. As we go up, the septum stops, and then the two corneas are separated by a space. So this is a bicornuate.
Bicornuate component, class U3C, combined septum and bicornuate.
Let me check it. U0 is the normal uterus. U1 is the dysmorphic uterus, which include the
T-shape and infantile.
U2 is the septum with a shorter one. And U3 is
bicornuate.
So what is this case?
U3A is a partial bicornuate. U3B is a complete bicornuate. So two complete.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
U3,
Everybody gonna check this in the textbooks, okay? Absolutely. Very common.
U3C is combined septum bicornuate.
So our case today was U3C, which is the end of everything. 3 and C. So what do you think was the challenge in the operations today? We just finished it now.
When to stop?
When to stop?
Usually,
Usually in a standard case of a septum, we start from below and we cut by the scissors or the resectoscope, going all the way up, and the landmark limit to stop is
tubulostomy.
Both tubulostomy at the same line. But here, you cannot continue all the way up, because if you reach both tubulostomy at the same line, you're into the peritoneal cavity. You agree upon that?
Exactly.
So, what were the backup plans we prepared to do?
Laparoscopy.
But I want everybody listening to us to know that we never do concomitant laparoscopy in
a standard step.
Yes, not at all. But in this case, I think the OT staff was so excited by Shawkis today is asking for combined laparoscopy. So this is to put the landmark when to stop. Okay? So I started with the scissors and we went very fine. I'll upload the video for everybody. And then we faced some awkward troubleshooting. What was it?
When you are using the office sheath, the diameter of it does not allow maximum flow rates of fluid. So even if you have the same pressure setting, because it's a lower flow rate, you don't get the same effect. Same like Veris needle and choker.
Okay.
Even if you have the same pressure, because of, especially in the uterine cavity, because of leakage, the flow rate is very important, so you will never have optimum pressure.
So your point of view that because we're using the office hysteroscopy sheaths, once we put the scissor, the standard one, not the Shawkis sheaths today we're using, once you put the scissor in the channel, operative channel, it consumes part of the space of the inflow channel, so the pressure of the fluid goes down, and we had some bleeding before we finished the septum.
Not bleeding. Bleeding as a complication means
blood
loss.
No,
we had a visual problem.
Okay, I mean, but when I say bleeding, not a torrential bleeding, but little bleeding like this with the fluid,
you don't see well.
You don't see well. So I have to, now I will not ask you, I'll comment what I have done. I had to come very close to the fundus, so I make benefit of the maximum pressure of the fluid, and working very close to the fundus have this advantage, which is
Loss of panoramic view.
Yes, when you lose the panoramic view, you don't have a clue of the tubal ostium. So you might keep cutting and then you perforate. So it was really challenging that each now and then I pull the scissors out to allow inflow, I see well, then I go by the scissors, I lose the visibility and then cut almost by sensation. One more very technical tip. When I cut, this is for everybody, this is very important. When you cut by the scissors, try to train your hand, your fingers, your receptors, your neurons about the feedback of the tissue consistency, okay? You're jealous. You're jealous, okay?
كل واحد وقدراته.
كل واحد وقدراته, okay? So this tells you how much went into from the septum to the fundal myometrium. It takes time until you feel that. So we did concomitant laparoscopy, and what's your opinion?
We saw the bicorneal notch.
So how you value or you evaluate the percentage of success of our today treatment for the septum?
There is no standardized treatment for this because you need the residual fundal myometrium for this lady to have a healthy pregnancy and
Exactly.
delivery.
Actually, if we cut more into the fundus, even without perforation,
You
so
make it
patient
very
is
thin.
left with a very thin fundus and she will get ruptured uterus during pregnancy. So the challenge in this case is
How
to
much
do
to leave?
yes, exactly. We have to do incomplete septum. It's not the septum, to do incomplete reconstruction and leave some cupping, which is the fundus thickening. This is U3C. As Yahya said, it is the septum, but not reaching to fundus. The cornea extend more high up with the space in between. It's a bicorneal, we call it bicorneal notch. So we finished this nice educational discussion by what is the post-operative treatment. Should we put a balloon?
Not for me.
Don't say not for me. No. Okay.
If I say no,
Not for
that means I am the
everybody.
guideline. I said not for me because this is my opinion.
Okay. All right. So no balloon. IUD?
No.
No. Eastern progesterone? No. Okay. So nothing at all. But what we ask the patient to do after 1 or 2 cycles is
I'd ask for another 3D.
another 3D, not another hysterography. Hysterography will show a much better cavity, but we'll still see this fundal cupping. So in the hand of somebody else might think that this is incomplete septum, incomplete reconstruction done. So the best is to do 3D ultrasound and measure the fundal thickness. I think in this case there will be any residual part, but if there is small notch to be cut, what we do?
Remove it in the office.
In the office. So no anesthesia in the office, less painful than insertion of a copper IST. So, dear friends, I invested the time between 2 surgeries to convey our experience, to share our challenge with all colleagues. Till we meet, thank you very much. That's the Shawkis from Cairo, Egypt.